Hi, I'm Robin Jackson here with your Monday Morning Mind Step, where every single week I show you a simple step that you can take right now to turn your school into a success story with the people and resources you already have. This week I want to talk to you about the difference between two types of teachers in your building. And I call them renters and owners. When I'm working with clients, one of the big complaints that a lot of my clients have is that they want their teachers to take more ownership over their practice. And there's a big difference between teachers who do take ownership and those who don't. And that distinction is the distinction between being a renter and an owner. You see, when you're a renter, you don't own the property. So everything you do in the property, you have to ask permission. If I want to paint something a different color, if I want to put holes in the walls, I have to ask permission. But when I'm an owner, I don't have to ask permission. I can simply choose what I want to do. The same is true in your school. When teachers are behaving like renters, they don't make a move unless they ask permission first, which means that you're making 100 different decisions every single day, and that wears you out. But when your teachers have ownership over their practice, they make good choices. And you don't have to make those choices for them. You know that they're going to make good choices on behalf of your students. The next thing is that renters have to wait. They have to wait on you. If a toilet breaks in the home, they don't fix it themselves. They call you and you have to fix it. The same is true in schools. If your teachers are acting like renters, then they're always waiting on you before they do anything on behalf of students. And what's really frustrating about that is that you become the bottleneck in your school building. But when your teachers are owners, they don't wait, they initiate. You like the way I rhymed there? When they're owners, they take the initiative. They don't wait for you to solve their problems. They solve their problems on their own. Another difference is that when you're dealing with renters, you have to delegate. So you're always giving them responsibility and hoping and praying that they do a good job. And you're often disappointed because you delegate tasks to renters and they don't complete the task in the way that you want the task to be completed, or they complete the task exactly as you prescribe, but they miss something because you didn't think about everything. And so they're not really invested in what you're asking them to do. But with owners, you don't have to delegate anything. Instead, you empower them to take initiative, to make decisions on their own. And that releases you from having to be the smartest person in the building, the only one who's doing the thinking. Lastly, when you have renters, in order to get anything done, you have to chase, check, and correct. You have to chase people down who don't have their lesson plans turned in. You have to check to make sure that any correspondence going out to parents is appropriate. And you have to correct them when they do something wrong. But when your teachers are owners, you can trust them. And you can trust them to do the right thing because they bought into your core values, your vision, and your mission, and you know that they're going to do the right thing. Now, typically, leaders create renters. And I believe this is why leaders are so exhausted. Because the way that we've been taught about leadership is that we have to be in charge. We have to be the ones controlling everything in our building. A lot of people say they want true ownership for their teachers. They want their teachers to take true ownership, but they're not willing to release the control of their school. And so as a result, they exercise leadership and they end up with renters. Buildership creates owners. And it's a little more scary because you do have to let go of some control. But when you empower your people, when you help them make good choices, when you help them take the initiative, and when you build trust in your people, you can trust them to do the right thing even when you're not looking. So now the choice is yours. Do you want renters or do you want owners? And to help you decide, all you have to do is think about, am I willing to exercise buildership or am I going to default back to leadership? Leadership is about control. You will never get ownership from your teachers. Buildership is about invitation, and you will always get ownership from your teachers. So this week, take a look at how you are running your building. If you're finding that you're exhausted, if you're finding you're the bottleneck, if you're finding that everybody's coming to you for decisions and nobody's making good decisions on their own, it's probably because you're stuck over here. But the good news, it's a very simple switch to go from leadership to buildership. And once you do, you'll see increased ownership in your teachers. You'll see that you're not as stressed because you're not the bottleneck in your building. And you'll see your school take off and achieve your vision, mission, and core values for students. Now, if you'd like our help learning how to shift from leadership to buildership, then I invite you to join me at an upcoming Builders Lab. Builders Lab is all about making the shift from leadership to buildership so you can get true ownership in your teachers. To join us at an upcoming Builders Lab, simply go to mindstepsinc.com/builders-lab. That's mindstepsinc.com/builders-lab.